Ain't no black in the Union Jack, or this is made on our backs and we're taking it back. From a rising over everything, never settling, always bettering until we're getting in. Do you know the weight Jaz carries? UK rap is the next best fabric. They say we're sleeping on R&B and it's tragic. But in these streets there's a whole load of magic. Ghosts who manage to be brave. No matter what he says, no matter what the media portrays, this is black, this is beautiful, amazing.
Doesn't happen often. Yeah, we came from nothing. Now I'm out of options. Yeah. Baby, please be honest. This should give you something I would never think to give.
This last year has been tough. Lockdowns, quarantine, panoramic, whatever you want to call it, COVID-19 has affected us all. If lockdown life were a film, it would closely resemble Groundhog Day. It's fair to say it's quite repetitive. Yet, there are those who have been able to take advantage of this new normal. Musicians particularly have had to adapt. Despite not having shows, they've recorded, released, and even shot music videos from the comfort of their homes. And one scene specifically was a topic of conversation at the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021. Discussions arose about UK R&B and whether we're supporting our artists. So, I spoke to two members of this exciting scene, Jaz Karis and Amia to understand more about creativity through lockdowns, the state of UK R&B, and the role of colourism in today's music industry.
Oh god. Lockdown's been a bit stressful, I would say. Like the first lockdown, perfect, lovely, holiday, everything. Second lockdown is like, okay, y'all are pushing it. Third, fourth, yeah, it's whooping my ass.
Obviously there's no gigs or performances, so literally any day where I'm not in studio or I'm not doing something else, I'm in here, and this is my studio. So I think, like, literally I prefer it. It's my cave. I can literally just come in my pajamas in here and just work whenever I want to, any time of day, any time of night. So I love it. I mean, I've taken full advantage of that.
I've just tried to stay busy. Sometimes I think because of like all the days are like mushing into one, we're just overcompensating, feeling like we have to just do loads and loads of work. So that's something I'm working on currently, like just resting and enjoying.
At the start of this year, it seemed everyone had a hot take about UK R&B. It's not that our artists don't have talent, they're just not getting pushed by labels. UK rappers need to use them on hooks to gain more exposure. R&B artists need to do an Ella Mai and go to the US to blow. I've heard what the people have had to say, but what do the artists think?
UK's not here for it. I don't think they're here for it, if I'm being completely honest. There is demand from it from listeners, but in terms of like radio station support and like just what we see on our TV screens, so like it's just not there. Like if you think about America, you've got channels like MTV. Like I grew up watching MTV Base. Like that's literally what I used to watch all the time. So it's like R&B, it's like pop, but like R&B pop, and like you've got your hip hop undertones and rap and things like that, where it's like here, like the main things we'll watch, the bigger channels is focused on grime or rap, which is great because it's the culture, but at the same time I just think there's nothing that champions R&B like that.
We just have so many talented artists, women and men, by the way. Like the men are singing and I love it. I truly believe this year, the years to come, it's just going to be an explosion, and people are going to take it in and respect it for sure.
It is already slowly starting to build, like don't get me wrong, it's come a long way, and it will soon, I think, be back in full flourish, but it's just I don't think it's there yet.
But whatever you want to say about R&B success, it's clear that the sound and mood of the genre have changed.
I don't think it's as romantic anymore, because I think our generation is not as romantic as, I guess, our parents and their parents. I don't know. It's gotten a lot more clinical how we do things.
Like R&B covers a range of topics, but 1000%, like we need a begging R&B song. we need people to be begging again.
But that doesn't mean that artists are no longer expressing their feelings.
Say less and do more. Say yes and be sure that this is what you want from me, that this is where you wanna be.
Right now, I'm definitely someone who believes in self-love, number one. So when you're young, I think you often break your boundaries, and you usually don't have boundaries when you're younger. But now I'm older, for sure, like I have really clear set boundaries, and I know what I want, I know who I am. And I'm working on continually, figuring myself out.
I'm not an easy lover, but I make time for others. No, I don't take things lightly. I'm not your average. You keep calling me sober, like there's something to say. But now the weekend is over. It's just another day. Yeah.
I think I do little things. Like, I can't think of like a massive thing. I'm not a horrible person, so I wouldn't do something like to really annoy someone. But I'll do things like, I am petty and it's bad, but like I would do stuff like that song literally says, like, I will do stuff purposely, like no, I've seen this message or something like that. Like, I'm petty, so I won't reply to you. Like, I'll do stuff, just annoying little things that I know would mostly annoy me, which is annoying. I'm not saying that's good, but I think I'm petty queen in terms of just generally I'm petty, like, and I need to stop it, but in relationships I am petty. So I think, yeah, it's more little things than one massive thing.
With the increased focus on UK R&B, conversations have been had about the representation of women in the scene. The watershed moment was probably the release of Peng Black Girls by South London rapper Eni. The original featured a chorus from Amia Brave, complementing Eni's piercing verses about the multifaceted nature of black women, the lack of coverage they receive in the media, and the pride they take in their identity.
Sometimes when you're like the person who's saying something, you don't realize like the power of what you're saying or how it's going to affect people. You're not thinking about that. You're just being expressive. So for me, I think it was seeing other people's reactions that made me feel really proud, really happy, and just it just made reinforce my beliefs of why representation matters and why we need to continue to make sure like we're bold in what we do as Black women and continue to put ourselves out there unashamedly, because it really, really has a positive effect, like a huge ripple effect on so many young women. So for me, that's what it did. It just reinforced what my belief system of like, wow, we need to be seen.
However, the remix of the song featured Georgia Smith and left off Amia Brave. The song went on to be performed on Berlin YouTube channel Colours, which has traditionally been a great place for UK singers to showcase their talent to a wider audience.
Colours really like kind of rocketed my career, because I think like just the audience that it opened me up to, how many people, like girls, used to send me that song and say like, oh, I'm sending this to my boyfriend right now. Like, it was such great. The love I got from that was great. Colours was amazing for me. It still is. Like right now it's on, I think, 11 million views or something like that. Like, it's doing really well. It's still to this day get people telling me about Pay Love. So I think like I'm very grateful to have done Colours. I was a massive fan of it beforehand. So when I done it, I was super, super gassed and super, super nervous, but it went well and I'm very grateful to have done it.
And despite the success of the remix and the increased exposure the performance gave Eni, conversations about colorism were sparked, which is discrimination against darker-skinned individuals in comparison with preferential treatment for lighter-skinned individuals of the same race.
I think hire more women. We need loads more women. Like there are some women like your managers, executives. But I think we need more women in roles like that, Black women specifically. I think we need more women, more Black women in those executive roles. And I think the more inclusive our workspaces are, then the work that we produce will also be inclusive. So, you know, it's like, I can't tell a man's story, you know, nor can a man tell my story. So we need people to represent themselves. That's what I think.
I can't control how people perceive me, but I can control, like, I know I definitely have like responsibility being light skinned, and like as a person of color, I know like I can't be the full representation of Black people. Like I can't. So I think it's definitely, I know I have responsibility in making sure that like if I can't speak on certain topics or not speak about them, but then I think as well, one thing, like that's a good question, because one thing with colorism and this industry is like you said, like everyone, like, people get blamed for it all the time, and a lot of time it's not necessarily that person's fault. Like they maybe could do things to make things more aware, but if they've been like, or like change things or also include other people. But I think one thing we need to stop doing, like as people of color, is blaming each other. And I think what we need to do instead is talk to each other and educate each other on like, I don't feel like you should be doing this because of this, or I don't feel like you can represent me in this topic, so please, I don't think you should speak on it, things like that. And I think that way, like people are a lot more, I think the only way people will learn about people's differences and what we should speak on, what we shouldn't speak on, etc., is by speaking to each other. And I think then when people get attacked, automatically they're defensive, they're not trying to hear anything. It's not my fault, I didn't do this, so like I'm not gonna swear, but yeah, I think it is really hard, and especially like being mixed race is hard as well, to know like these days what, like, do you know what I mean? It's hard to know or to feel accepted in any kind of room these days, and like all you can go by is how you feel and what you feel about this topic and what you feel about this, and speak to people. And I think what also people need to remember is that like everyone, like no one can speak on somebody else's experience. And I think that's just one thing everyone needs to remember. Stop attacking each other. We're all on the same side, and like really just speak and educate each other. So I think that's like really what it comes down to.
Doesn't happen often. Yeah, we came from nothing. Now I'm out of options. Yeah. Baby, please be honest. Did she give you something I would never think to give?
I can't keep having like a New Year's resolution, the same thing every single time. I was just like, no, I need to change. And so I just did the things that I was afraid of, and I just said yes.
I deeper love my lyrics after I've written them. Like that just always happens. I'll look back and be like, oh, that's what I was talking about.
Sometimes the things you're saying subconsciously within yourself, it starts to come out. Like, so it's something that I'm learning also to do. Like, we're gonna be fine. You're fine, Amia. Like, you're doing good. Like, it's all gonna be fine. It's all gonna work out.